Hello everyone and welcome to part 22 of our F122 driver career mode here for the Chinese Grand Prix. Last time out in Australia, we finished in second place at our home Grand Prix. Our first time actually finishing our Grand Prix so far in this career mode, and so it was good to get a podium there, and of course in our first run with Mercedes as well, to finish the race on a high. Fernando Alonso there took the win on his return to Ferrari, so a good reunion there for those guys, and the reigning world champion Verstappen rounded out the podium in P3. Russell struggled a bit and ended up a little bit further down the points. Heading into China this time out, we bought some upgrades and we are now in line with Red Bull, equal second best car in the field. Ferrari still out front at the moment. The only other car to actually bring in some upgrades was Alfa Romeo. They've moved themselves a little bit closer to Williams, but other than that, actually a relatively flatlined field. Obviously, again, remembering that this performance chart is very, very zoomed in, especially compared to Season 1. And so all of the teams are really, really close to the point where there isn't even really a midfield anymore. It's all sort of just one field with a little bit of a spread between it. You wouldn't even really have what we in the real world have the front guys, the middle field, and the back markers. It is a very, very close field at the moment, and anything can happen at any point. So let's head to the grid rundown for the Chinese Grand Prix.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Benjamin, Perez, Charles Leclerc, and Fernando Alonso, Russell, Gasly, Hamilton, and Esteban Ocon, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Alex Albon, and Sainz, Stroll, Tsunoda, Guan Yu Zhou, and Mick Schumacher, Latifi, and Robert Schwartzman. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
So here we are lined up on the grid for the Chinese Grand Prix in P3, our best qualifying result to date in this career mode, on the second row of the grid alongside Sergio Perez, who you can actually see starting on the soft compound tyres in the Alpine. So he had a good quali, and he's looking to get a good start to the race as well on that softer compound. Most of us starting on the mediums. I believe Russell is also on the softs, as well as Carlos Sainz. So those three guys will be interesting to keep an eye on as we head into the start of this Grand Prix. Verstappen in the championship hunt again for his third world title, who's currently sits third in the standings after Australia is on pole, and Lando Norris still looking for his first win in Formula 1. He's been up the front quite a lot in the recent last season or two, and he's looking to get the race win as we are underway for the Chinese Grand Prix. Lando gets an incredible start to get ahead of Verstappen and into the lead. Perez on the soft compound tyres gets straight ahead of us there into third, and so we've dropped back a spot into P4 at the start of this race. We've got the two Ferraris going side by side through turn 1, and we've actually got Fernando Alonso, the race winner last time out in Australia, alongside us now through turn 2, trying to find a way past. But we do get our nose just back in ahead there, ahead of the Ferrari. Leclerc drops back down to P6, so the two Ferraris swapping positions at the start of the race. Russell trying to hold on to Ricciardo, but Gasly dives for a move on Ricciardo and Russell, so he gets the move done on the Ford, but he's not able to get the move done on our teammate there. And so Russell for now holds on to P7. Meanwhile, just ahead of that, Fernando Alonso behind us runs wide through the S's and allows Leclerc through, so an uncharacteristic mistake there for Fernando to just throw away a spot like that, especially after such a strong race last time out in Australia, and just throwing a spot away like that could be very detrimental to his race. Meanwhile, up ahead, Lando did end up getting the move done on on Max Verstappen, and he leads the way now as we head on to the back straight for the first time in this Grand Prix. We've lost a little bit of a gap to the guys ahead here, unfortunately. Just not a great first lap for us. We are now under attack from Charles Leclerc, but we are fortunately they're able to hold onto the position over the Ferrari, and as we now head on to lap number 3, we are right in on the back of the Alpine. Even though he's on the soft compound tyres, the main advantage of them are gone as we head into the hairpin around the outside, get the move done. And so, yeah, as well as those softs did for the Mexican there in the Alpine. The Alpine not as fast as us just yet, and so we do eventually get the move done there on the Alpine. But Leclerc spins on the final corner. Fernando smashed into him, so there's a crash for the Ferraris. Fernando is out of the race. Leclerc, I believe, has somehow gotten away with it without even damage. Maybe a little bit of rear damage, but he definitely doesn't have anything on the front there. But what a shame there for the race winner last time out in Australia, looking to have such a good season with Ferrari starting so strong, is straight away out of the race here on lap 3 after his teammate spins in front of him there. And just to think, I said that losing that position to Leclerc could be detrimental to his race, and that ended up being the case there, because if he wasn't behind Leclerc, then obviously he wouldn't have hit him when he spun. So yeah, Fernando will not be happy with that situation. I guess all of Ferrari won't be happy with that situation there. He's on board with Hamilton, who was actually racing away with Daniel Ricciardo at the time. They just about have the reflexes to get around that crash there. Especially Hamilton was sort of blinded by Ricciardo, and so very good of him to get around there. Lance Stroll, I don't know what he was doing. He just drove straight into it, lose his wheel, and then there is a whole mess happening here, including Pierre Gasly in the Red Bull. That is a massive shame there for Gasly. He was looking good to win the race potentially last time out in Australia, and this time he's had some bad luck as well, and he's now right down the back of the field in what is second last car on track down at P17. All the soft compound runners coming into the pit lane here to take advantage of that safety car that has been called out now. And so we will look at the rundown as we head on to lap number 6 here under safety car. It's Lando still leading the way ahead of Verstappen and myself. Ricciardo doing very well in the Ford there to be in 4th place. Obviously those guys were looking to score points in Australia last time until Magnussen had a puncture, which sort of put him out of points positions. Leclerc sitting in P5 at the moment, so he actually hasn't been hurt at all by this. He was in P5 before he spun, and he's still in P5 now. Hamilton in P6 won't be happy with the fact that he was battling Ricciardo and has ended up 2 spots behind him at this stage. Ocon in the Alpine in P7. Albon doing very well there in the Williams to be in P8. Magnussen in the other Ford doing very well in P9 in the points as well. So looking to potentially be a double point scoring round there for the Ford guys in just their second race on their return to Formula 1. That would be something really awesome to see there for those guys, especially after the bad luck they had last time out in Australia. And it's Carlos Sainz rounding out the points in the Williams as well. He actually didn't pit off the soft compound tyres, so interesting to see what sort of strategy they're going for there in Williams. As we now head on to lap number 7 for the restart, we've got a really good launch out of the final corner, so we're alongside Verstappen, but he just has that top end speed, unfortunately, and so we're unable to get it done. He comes back across us there through turn 1, and so we have to slot back into 3rd place for now as we head through the first corner. But now on lap 7, a little bit later on, Gasly looking to make his way through the field and back towards the point scoring position as he goes to the inside of Nicholas Latifi, dives it on Schwartzman in the Aston Martin as well. What a move there for Gasly. Unfortunately for him though there, the Aston Martin will have the better run out of the hairpin there with that outside line and gets the move back into P13. Gasly will be looking to get that move back though soon. And now on lap number 8, we got Esteban Ocon in the Alpine, and it's an engine failure. Such a shame there for Esteban Ocon. Perez had an engine failure last time out in Australia, and now it's another one here for Ocon in round 2. So potentially some sort of reliability issue with that Renault power unit heading into Season 3 here. We'll have to see how that story develops over the course of the season, but that could cost them a lot of points, especially for a team that at the end of Season 2 we're looking to be very strong, potentially challenge for race wins and even be in the championship fight heading into Season 3. But speaking of unreliability, Charles Leclerc in the other Ferrari also with an engine failure. So that is going to be both Ferraris out of the Chinese Grand Prix. They just have such poor luck in this career mode. In last season as well, they were looking to potentially win the Constructors, and then they just did not get the points they needed to beat out Red Bull. And now this season as well, so strong in round 1, and now both out of round 2. Meanwhile, here on the restart of lap 11 with both of those guys retiring, we had another safety car, and so we were able to pull the move that we weren't able to do last time and get into second place ahead of Max Verstappen, looking to now challenge for first place with Lando Norris, who still leads the way here as we close in on the halfway mark of the Grand Prix. So the McLaren doing very well. The McLarens have been very speedy in round 1 in Australia as well as this round, so they are looking to potentially be title contenders in Season 3 here. Meanwhile, Gasly's still trying to find a way around the Aston Martin of Schwartzman here on lap 12. He's going to look to the outside of the hairpin. He'll have the inside for the final corner now, and he does finally get the move done on Schwartzman to get himself into P9, so he's back into the points paying position. Schwartzman's actually coming back at him here, so the Aston doing very well, especially the rookie in his debut season here, battling away with the Red Bull And yeah, he's certainly showing the other teams what he's made of, potentially to get a top seat in future seasons. But Gasly, in the end, obviously in the better car with a bit more experience as well under his belt, able to get the move done. Now Sergio Perez, who made a pit stop earlier on, remember, from the soft compound tyre. So interesting to see what sort of strategy he's on. He's on mediums at the moment, and I wonder if he's going to try and stretch him to the end. That'll be a big ask, but it'll be interesting to see, potentially. Or at least he will go into mediums, whereas we are now all pitting onto hard compound tyres, which will mean even if he does pit onto another set of mediums, he will have a lot of pace over the rest of the field. So we come into the pit lane now to get on our hard set of tyres. So does Verstappen. We get slightly held in the pit lane. Luckily, Verstappen also gets held, and so we get out of the pit lane ahead of him. Norris comes into the pit lane at the end of lap 14 now, but Verstappen flies past us there. Unfortunately, just on the cold tyres, I just didn't quite have the pace that I wanted. That allowed the Red Bull through, and Lando Norris with the overcut is now way ahead of us. You can see as he exits the pit lane, it's about 3 seconds as we head through turn 1, but he's obviously got this outlap on cold tyres, and so it's up to Verstappen and myself now to make the most of these warmer tyres we've got now, to close back in and at least get back in to the DRS range of the McLaren as we now head on to the end of lap 16 here. You can see we are close, not quite within DRS. We set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix though, and so clearly we've got the pace. And hopefully here now on lap 17, we can close up enough to get back within DRS range of the McLaren. As you can see here later on lap 17, Perez now has gotten ahead of Schumacher. He's now going for a move on Yuki Tsunoda in the other Haas here. So he's absolutely flying at the moment. He has made another pit stop onto another set of mediums, but he's already up into P6. As I said, on those mediums, he'll be absolutely flying. So we've all got to watch out for that Alpine that is looking to have a very good race for himself. Gasly, in the meantime, gets a move done on Schumacher. So both the Haas cars losing a position each down that back straight there, unfortunately for those guys. Meanwhile here on lap 18, Albon, on a completely alternate strategy, he's on the hards, because remember, he started on the soft compound tyres. He pit onto the hards under that first safety car, and it looks like those guys are trying to stretch the hards to the end of the race. So Alex Albon in the Williams effectively, actually legitimately leads the race here on lap 18, and so it's up to Norris, Verstappen and myself to now chase down my former teammate to try and go for the race win. Ricciardo sits in P5 at the moment. Very nicely done for the Fords at the moment, and for our fellow Aussie, nice to see him having a good race there with his new team. Perez at the moment chasing him down on those medium tyres. He's very quick at the moment. Gasly sits in P8, Schumacher in P9 ahead of Hamilton, rounding out the points there in P10. Russell on the mediums at the moment, sitting in P11, not even in the points. So Russell really struggling at the start of this season. Meanwhile, looking back to Pierre Gasly now, looking to go for a move on the Haas of Yuki Tsunoda on lap 18 here, down towards the hairpin. He's got the DRS. He's actually able to pull back in onto the racing line before they even get to the braking zone there. And Hamilton also going for a move now on Mick Schumacher. So again, both the Haas cars looking to potentially lose a spot here on lap 18 as we head through the final corner. Is Hamilton going to have the better line? No, they actually both go side by side still. This may allow Russell the opportunity to get into the points paying positions. Hamilton is ahead. Russell now alongside Mick Schumacher into turn 1. Magnussen also in behind this will be looking to get a move done. Hamilton is completely clear ahead of this now. Russell still side by side with the Haas, but he's on the medium, so hopefully that extra bit of tyre grip should help him get the move done here as they head through turn 2. He goes around the outside. Schumacher doing a very good job to hold on to this at the moment. Russell still doesn't quite have the move done, and he does there get the move done into turn 4, and so he is into the points paying positions. Meanwhile now on lap 19, we are right in behind Max Verstappen, looking to potentially get a move done into P3, out of P4 is what I was meant to say there, as we now head on to lap number 20. Hamilton going for a move on Yuki Tsunoda in the Haas, so the Haas guys just tumbling down the order after they were looking to have a good race, and the McLaren down the inside of the hairpin, but Tsunoda not giving up just yet. He's going to try and hold it alongside the McLaren. The McLaren will have the better line through the final corner, but can he hold on like Schumacher did? Yes, he can, but just like we saw with Schumacher, it's not going to give him the best run, so Hamilton is ahead, and exact same situation. Russell looking to get the move done as well, and Russell in fact going for a move on Hamilton as well, looking to get a double overtake here on lap 21 into turn 1. He's got the inside for the first corner, he'll have the outside for the second corner. Hopefully with those better tyres and a slightly better car than the McLaren, he can hold on around turn 2 there, and he does get it done, which will give him the better run out of the corner as they head through turn 3 into turn 4. Can he get it done in the braking zone? Hamilton putting up a bit more of a fight. They make a bit of contact there, and that allows Hamilton to hold on to P8 for now. So even after Hamilton has moved away from Mercedes, there is still tension between those two guys. So that tension was the reason Hamilton left to begin with, as well as just the Mercedes not performing as he wanted. And yeah, those guys still making contact with each other and rubbing wheels here in China. Meanwhile, now on lap 21, Perez going for a move on Ricciardo. So unfortunately, as good as the race as the Ford is having, is just no match for that Alpine on those medium tyres. And so Ricciardo still doing well in P6, but he does have to watch out for Pierre Gasly, who is also coming quite quickly in that Red Bull. Also, another Ford now potentially to lose a spot to Yuki Tsunoda as they go side by side through the final corner. The Haas holds on for now and holds on to some points. Actually, that might have even been Magnussen moving into the points. I'm not too sure, but these guys all battling away very vigorously with each other. Meanwhile, Sainz looking to get himself into the points as well. To Magnussen may end up dropping out of the points either way as Sainz rounds him up around the outside of turn 1. What a move there for the Williams, and potentially a double Williams scoring race here in China as they head through turn 2, and on those medium tyres, the Williams has a bit better grip, and so he's going to get the move done on the Ford. Magnussen not quite giving up just yet though, as they head now into turn 4. Who's going to brake later? They actually looks quite equal. Magnussen will have the inside of the corner, but that means Sainz will have a better run, and so he does get the move done into P10, and the Ford of Magnussen dropping out of the points into P11 for now. Who knows what's yet to come further in the race though. As we look up ahead, we have finally closed in on Alex Albon, our past teammate here, looking to eventually now lose the lead of the race. But with only really 4 and a little bit laps to go, how hard is he going to fight this? If it was me, I would fight this absolutely tooth and nail, and it looks like that's exactly what Albon's going to do. He forces Lando to the inside there. He actually even went a little bit defensive just before the braking zone, so we'll have the outside now for the hairpin as they head into the final corner now though. He's actually a little bit ahead, and so Lando has to tuck back in behind through the final quarter. So Albon still leads the way for now, but we've now got a massive train heading down towards turn 1. Verstappen to the outside, Lando to the inside. Verstappen backs out of it. Lando doesn't though, as they go side by side now through turn 1. They're going to go 3 wide as Verstappen sticks his nose down the inside of turn 1. We're just sitting back with a bucket of popcorn watching this great battle here between these three. They're still going 3 wide. They both get Albon. We're going to sneak around the outside of our former teammate as well. Unfortunately there for the Williams, he does slip from 1st down to 4th there in the space of just a couple corners. He tries to hold around the outside, but we do get the move done anyway. And Verstappen has made the double overtake to get himself into the lead of the race now. Norris into P2 and myself in P3. Albon is slightly falling back, and he is going to have to watch out for Sergio Perez, who is coming on those mediums. If you look at the map on the left-hand side there, he is not far behind this battle at all, only 4 seconds. And so with 3 laps to go, who knows what's going to happen. Lando doesn't have the best run out of turn 2, so we look to the inside. He goes defensive. We look to the outside through turn 4, around the outside there, which will give us the better exit, moves us into the 2nd spot on the podium there. And now with 3 laps to go, or more like 2.5, can we close in on the Red Bull? On lap 27 here, George Russell has closed in on Ricciardo now. So Gasly has gotten ahead of the Ford, and now our teammate looking to get ahead of our fellow Aussie as well. So super unfortunately, the Ford's having a good race, but they just don't have the race pace that the rest of us do. Like I said, it's not really a whole massive big spread across the field, but there is still us that are faster than the Fords at the moment, so hopefully they can bring some development as Russell moves himself a little bit further up the field now. But on the final lap of the race, we are right in behind Max Verstappen. We're going to have 1 DRS straight to try and get this move done as we head through into the snail section. Verstappen locks up. We've broken our front wing on the back of his car there, as I just couldn't quite get turned in enough. Just unfortunately the way our lines converged there, I just couldn't get the car stopped in time to avoid that damage. So it's going to be a 3-way battle now down the straight. Myself and Lando with DRS. Verstappen leading the way. He's going to have to defend with everything here. As here we come now. Lando goes to our inside. We're going to go to the inside of Verstappen. So it's 3 wide. Unfortunately, some real bad camera angles there from the game. But we go through the middle. Verstappen has dropped down to 3rd. He's still looking for a way through. Lando alongside us. He'll have the better line through the corner. And unfortunately, because of our front wing damage, he's able to get the move done. Lando gets his first win in Formula 1. It's another 2nd place here for us in China.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
It's a performance to be proud of from our Chinese Grand Prix winners here today. Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
So here we are with the results of the Chinese Grand Prix. Lando Norris, finally a race winner in Formula 1 after looking like such a strong contender in Season 2. He's finally got the breakthrough race win that he's wanted with McLaren, and it's ourselves following him just behind, a 10th behind, missing out on our first race win in Formula 1. Verstappen finishes 3rd place for the 2nd time in a row as well. And Albon, a very, very nice race for him there and for Williams to finish in P4 on that alternate strategy. Perez doing well in the Alpine as well to be P5. Gasly doing a very, very good recovery job to be in P6. You have to give it to him. That was a very nice recovery drive. Russell just doesn't quite have the pace this season in P7. Ricciardo getting a nice result there for the Fords there, getting their first race points of the season in P8, sorry. And in terms of the driver standings, though, we lead the way by a point over Lando Norris. Verstappen, 6 points off of us in P6. So a very close battle between the three of us. Alonso still actually quite close as well, only 11 points back there in the Ferrari, even though he didn't finish this race. And then it's a bit of a further gap to Hamilton and the McLaren. Albon doing very well in the Williams in P6, higher than we ever got in the driver's standings in our 2 seasons there. Russell down in P7 really has to sort of get it into action now for the rest of this season. It's been a real bad first 2 rounds for him. Perez doing very well as well, high up in the standings. McLaren lead the Constructors' Championship after round 2. A very good start to the season for those guys, and it's ourselves only 1 point away for Mercedes. Red Bull 11 points off in 3rd, and Ferrari 16 points off in 4th. So those are the main 4 guys in the Constructors' battle at the moment. Williams, again, very, very nice for them to be up in P5, equal on points with Alpine. And then the Ford Performance guys getting their first points of the season in P7. So, really, really intense, incredible race here in China, seeming to provide some good races here in F1 22. But that is all for this video, guys. We'll be in Canada next for the Canadian Grand Prix. If you guys did enjoy this one, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.